Do you sometimes feel like things aren't quite going your way and you just want to start afresh? One of the beautiful things that we learn from nature is about sunrise. And the sun, isn't that just a magnificent, magnificent thing? It's so exceptionally beautiful. What it does is it rises every day in the morning, then it sets in the evening. And it is incredible. It does it every day, it does it so consistently. And does it ask for anything in return? You know, one of the things that got me thinking about is, hey, like we're going to have sunrises and sunsets in business operations and day to day. And I was really tempted not to do Intention Monday today just because I was feeling a little bit like, I don't really feel it today. I haven't had my morning workout, I'm a little off my normal routine, and things just aren't flowing the way that I like them to. And so then it got me thinking, okay, well, what in nature can teach us a great lesson about just rising and then that dip and then rising again and then that dip, and it just keeps going. It's a cycle, it's a cyclical loop, and the sun does it. And what's beautiful about the sun is that it can be relied on. Isn't it just exceptionally powerful? And isn't there something there then about resilience and the actual, just the thing around keeping on going? I mean, this is really, really powerful. And I talked about trees in the last Intention Monday, which was oriented around principles from nature and lessons from nature. And trees are just incredibly resilient. The trees rely on the sun. And the entire thing, if you look at it, is an ecosystem. So the trees wouldn't survive unless the sun chose to come up every day. And the sun has this responsibility, if you like, of providing light and warmth to our entire planet. And imagine if the sun decided just one day to take the day off, what would that create in terms of havoc? Can you imagine that? So it's something there for me around being reliable, being counted upon, being consistent, and then showing up in that way. And that's one of the things I want Intention Monday to stand for. Almost one of the things I want Selling in Alignment to stand for is being counted on, being able to show up no matter what. I'm just coming to the end of this 16-week accelerator that I'm running with clients, and it's been an incredibly powerful process for them. One of the comments that I got over the weekend was that what we've delivered inside of this 16 weeks at the price point we delivered it feels like much more value than people have received in courses where they've paid a lot more money and they've been on for a lot longer. And there's a reason for that. It's because there is this consistency around the way in which we have our blueprints, our methods, our tools, our techniques. I have exact strategies for proposals and campaigns and winning high value business transactions. One of my clients has just taken on board a £20,000 coaching contract, and it came up for renewal, and the client just renewed it just like that. Why? It's because of the way in which we're showing up consistently. Let's look back now at the sun. What can the sun really bring us from its lessons that it's teaching us into this day to day? If we just show up consistently, if we just chip away at what we need to be chipping away at, we just carry on doing the work on ourselves, on our clients, it's really just going to come with some fantastic results. I know it. I can feel it. Every single part of my being tells me that, and that's me being aligned with nature. And the sun providing that warmth, the sun providing that light, the sun just giving, unconditionally giving, constantly giving, without anything that's asking for in return from anyone. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that teach us something about service, which is what a service-based business is about? Jenny comes on say, hey, it's amazing, great your coach is getting such value, and it doesn't surprise her that I've got such feedback. Absolutely, thank you so much for that, Jen. I really appreciate that. And absolutely, right, we just keep being out there, we're just consistent, we just keep delivering, we keep going, we just keep chipping away at it. And that's the idea, and that's what nature really has taught me. And that's really the take home for the week, because I want to take that into this week. How can I just show up consistently, regardless of how I'm feeling? And this is a big one because, again, like I said this morning, I just really didn't feel like running Intention Monday. I just felt like, nah, I'm off my routine. I had a big weekend with lots of movement and exercise, and then that's had a knock-on my own recovery. Now I want a rest day. Now I want a rest day. I haven't got up and moved the way that I normally have. I'm not on top of my supplements or my nutrition. And so then that shows up the way I come onto Intention Monday, or even the fact that I don't want to. And then this leads to all of these things. But then look at anything in nature and look at how consistent it is, all right? All of these different elements in nature, not just the sun, but the sun is definitely one of them. Trees, if you look at water, if you look at any element, if you look at wind, all of these things can be counted upon to perform some kind of a specific function. And you can count on them to show up in a way that's going to fulfill on that function. The function that trees continue to fulfill on is they provide shade, they provide oxygen, they provide, what else do they provide? They provide wood to make furniture, or they provide wood in order to make paper for us to write on. There's so many functions that trees have. They can be counted on all of these things consistently every single time. There aren't any exceptions. And isn't that interesting? What can we bring into our week to have us show up consistently? What can we bring into our week to have us show up empowered? And even if we don't show up empowered, even if we're feeling like, I can't generate myself today, I can't generate the energy, I don't feel like doing it, which is how I felt this morning, how can we still show up regardless? And I'm always going to be the first person to put my hand up and say, hey, you know what? I just wasn't feeling that today. I just wasn't feeling like doing it. And what's really interesting is that even my preparation for Intention Monday got pushed back. So then that meant that even the start time got pushed back as well. Then that's had an impact on my following meetings for today and the other things that I promised and committed to delivering on. So isn't it interesting, the fact that all of these things have a knock-on? And so what do we want to do to resolve this is we can just bring some compassion, first of all. First of all, we have to get that we may not be able to necessarily show up the way that nature does with the level of consistency that nature does. And there's something to aspire for. So while we may not be able to generate ourselves all the time, while we may not be able to be consistent all the time, while we may not be able to do what we have to do, the way in which we want to do it all the time, one thing that we can aspire to is the consistency that nature provides and the consistency that nature teaches. What do we get from the sun in that it gives so much? And one of the things that I wanted to prepare for Intention Monday, and why I really love the sun, is that it has a rhythm to it. It has a consistency to it. It's dependable. You can count on the sun to show up. You can count on me to stand for your self-worth and then charging your worth out in the industry. My martial arts students can count on me to have them feel like they know their own worth. When they go into a situation, be it at work or in the classroom or at school or whatever it is, they can count on knowing their worth and showing up empowered. They can count on me to continually draw that out of them. And so all of these different things that nature teaches us, the sun teaches us, trees teach us, water teaches us, wind teaches us, is really for me in and around that consistency. And that's something I'm really aspiring towards. I feel like I've not been able to be consistent very much in my life in the past. And so now I really want to bring a newness to that. I want to bring compassion to that what's happened has happened and I can't change it. And I want to now stand for something that's completely renewed and refreshed. I feel reborn. I want my clients to feel reborn in their association around their own self-worth and charging their worth. And I want us to feel empowered and go out in the world and contribute and thrive. And so that's it for me. That's what I'm bringing into my week this week. And Intention Monday today for me has been about what can we bring in to be consistent around. Is it the way we show up? Is it something we do with our clients? Is it something we do with ourselves? Is it movement? Is it exercise, nutrition, food, sleep? What does it look like? Is it meditation? One of the things that we can pull from these topics and just bring it into the week and play for 7 days, all out, like we're completely unmessable with just that aspect. Let's bring that in for Intention Monday, into the rest of the week, into the rest of the month, and indeed into the rest of our lives. Let me know what you get from this, but until the next time, keep selling in alignment.